Now, WBOC News at 5 on Fox 21.
Delaware State Police explain how they tracked down the man suspected of shooting and killing this state trooper. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jacqueline Carley.
And I'm Steve Hammond. Welcome to WBOC News at 5. It is a tragedy that had police departments across the region on high alert and rushing to assist their fellow officers in blue.
Delaware State Police say 8-year veteran Corporal Stephen Ballard was shot and killed yesterday afternoon in Bear, Delaware. According to investigators, the shooting happened around 12:10 yesterday in the parking lot of Wawa on Pulaski Highway after Corporal Ballard approached a suspicious car. One man got out of the car and shot Ballard several times before running away. Another man was arrested at the scene but later released. Police identified the first suspect as Burgon Seeley Jr. State police say investigators were tipped off about his whereabouts by the suspect's family members.
Through investigative leads, it was learned that the suspect had made contact with family members and advised that he had shot a trooper at the Wawa. The family immediately relayed that information to police. With that information, the investigators learned that the suspect was now in a residence at Brickmill Farms in Middletown.
Police then met up with Seeley at that home in Middletown, where he barricaded himself inside for almost 21 hours. He was shot and killed by police after exiting the home and firing at responding officers this morning.
In Washington, lawmakers released documents today raising more questions about President Trump's former national security advisor, and the investigation picked up steam with confirmation that the Pentagon is conducting its own inquiry. That while the president is focused on making good on campaign promises. Craig Boswell reports from the White House.
President Trump wanted to set the record straight about the North American Free Trade Agreement.
Well, I was going to terminate NAFTA as of 2 or 3 days from now.
Instead, he decided to renegotiate the deal he once referred to as a disaster on the campaign trail with the leaders of Mexico and Canada.
If I'm unable to make a fair deal, if I'm unable to make a fair deal for the United States, meaning a fair deal for our workers and our companies, I will terminate NAFTA.
As the president approaches day 100 in the White House, he's looking to show progress on his pledges as a candidate.
Going to put people back to work.
Wednesday, he rolled out a massive tax cut plan. The one-page outline is short on details, but Republicans are giving it a positive spin. Democrats call it failed trickle-down economics.
We Democrats have been making the case all week that the president has broken his promises to working-class Americans.
Congress is plowing ahead with investigations into possible ties between the president's associates and Russia. Lawmakers are scrutinizing payments ousted National Security Advisor Michael Flynn received from Russia's state-supported TV network.
But we have no evidence, not a shred, that he disclosed his payments.
The House Oversight and Government Reform Committee asked the Army to determine whether the former general broke the law. The Pentagon says it is investigating. Flynn's attorney insists the Department of Defense was fully aware. Craig Boswell, CBS News, the White House.
United Airlines made headlines after that passenger was violently pulled off a flight, and now the airline has a list of steps to take so recent history will not repeat itself. United issued a press release today detailing results of an internal review after that controversy. The recommendations are 10 new or updated customer service policies, limiting the use of law enforcement, reducing the amount of overbookings, and increasing customer compensation initiatives for voluntary denied boarding up to $10,000. Some of the policy changes have already been implemented, while others are set to roll out soon.
Arkansas will reach the end of an aggressive execution schedule as it prepares for a fourth lethal injection in 8 days after initially planning twice as many over an 11-day period. 38-year-old Kenneth Williams is set to die tonight for killing a former deputy warden following an escape. He had been previously convicted of murdering another person. After killing the deputy warden, Williams crashed a car into another car, killing that driver. That man's family is now asking for Williams' life to be spared.
Everyone can change, and I definitely believe in second chances or even third chances because it's what's right.
For them, that chance is making sure the killer gets to see his own family one last time. This family, the victim's family, bought Williams' daughter and granddaughter plane tickets so they could see Williams before the execution.
Moving on, this year's NFL Draft for the first time is being held in a venue that is entirely outdoors. An open-air theater has been built on the steps of the Philadelphia Museum of Art, more famously known as the Rocky Steps. It has been 56 years since Philly hosted an NFL Draft. The inaugural NFL Draft was held there in Philadelphia in 1936. And there is, of course, a lot of local interest in tonight's draft with fans of the Eagles, Ravens, and Redskins on Delmarva.
And WBOC's sports director Matt Pensick is at the draft tonight, along with our Bill Mitch. And we'll begin with Bill, taking a look at the pageantry tonight. Bill?
Jackie, Steve, I want to start off by saying this view that we have does no justice to just how big this complex is. Now, to give you an idea of where we are, just over here to my right, that's that massive stage. I know the trees are in the way, but the massive stage right here in front of those Rocky Steps, as you mentioned, Steve. Now, this is a little bit of the view of the complex here, but it goes way down into the heart of Philly. I have gotten a ton of exercise today. So when we got here today, my goal was to check out that NFL Draft experience, and as I mentioned, it is absolutely massive. The draft has taken over the Ben Franklin Parkway, which goes from downtown into right up to these art museum steps. Obviously, it's a little bit rough on traffic around here in Philly, but there's festivities all over the place, and there are football fans occupying just about every inch of it. This complex stretches about 25 football fields, and really, we have seen fans from teams across the country, from Cowboys fans who are kind of picking with the Eagles fans a little bit. We've seen Saints fans, Titans fans, Bengals fans, really everyone you can imagine. But obviously, a vast majority of the fans that are here are in that black and green. They're here for the birds. In fact, we caught up with a Eagles fan from Milford on Delmarva who told us that he waited 2.5 hours in line just to meet and get an autograph from Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz. He said it was, quote, totally worth it. And fans are even here doing the NFL combine drills, the high jump, the 40-yard dash. They're kicking field goals. This whole experience is something very unique to the fans here in Philly. Obviously, this whole day, this whole draft experience is much more about those names that get called on the big stage a little bit later. But those names are obviously very important to the local teams that we cover here at WBOC. And for more on those names and on those teams, here's WBOC Sports Director Matt Pensick. Matt?
All right, thanks, Bill. The NFL epicenter, at least for this weekend, is right here in Philadelphia and on that stage that Bill referenced just a few moments ago. That is where the NFL stage that Bill referenced is where it will take place tonight. Just over 8 o'clock, the Cleveland Browns are on the clock. It is expected that they will select Texas A&M defensive end Myles Garrett. Keyword there is expected. One constant about the NFL draft is to expect the unexpected. For Ravens general manager Ozzie Newsome, like the counterparts on the other 31 teams in the league, they have to be open to trade possibilities, especially if they are interested in moving up and down the draft board.
If we move back 5 spots, who do we have a chance to get? If we go back 10 spots. And the other thing that we found out last year that there may be an opportunity to move up, to go and grab a player and, give up one of our resources because we feel like we can take some of the other picks we have and move back.
Now, I think the quarterbacks will play a role in this, and it will allow the Ravens, Eagles, and Redskins, if they so choose, to make that trade down, particularly if there is a run at that position in the top 10. And we'll have more on those 3 teams over on WBOC News at 6. Reporting live from the NFL Draft, I'm Matt Pensick, WBOC.
Conservative supporters planned rallies today to denounce what they called an attempt to silence their conservative views after Ann Coulter said she was forced to cancel a speaking event at the University of California, Berkeley amid concerns violence could break out. Police were prepared for possible problems today. The tension illustrated how Berkeley has emerged as a flashpoint for extreme left and right forces amid the debate over free speech in a place where the 1960s U.S. free speech movement began, before it then spread to college campuses nationwide. One student who considers himself a moderate says he's worried the situation can be dangerous, both in the physical sense and for the campus reputation.
And we're going to look so bad as a campus community, and I'm actually very worried for UC Berkeley's perception in the media, more than I already am.
And violence erupted on the Berkeley campus in February when outspoken conservative Milo Yiannopoulos was scheduled to appear.
Government scientists say they are now launching an investigation into the unusually large number of humpback whale deaths that are happening from North Carolina all the way up to Maine. We've been telling you about this week. 41 whales have been stranded in the region in 2016 and so far in 2017. Officials say 10 of the 20 whales that have been examined so far were killed by collisions with boats. Now that's far above the average of fewer than 2 per year. And officials say there's been no spike in boat traffic to explain it. Humpbacks can grow to 60 feet long. They are popular with whale watchers because of the dramatic way they breach the ocean's surface.
Well, it is a seller's real estate market. Why now might be a good time to sell your home and maximize profits.
More on that when the News at 5 continues right after this break.
Local news and weather, plus your chance to win a Gateway Subaru Impreza. Listen to 102.5 WBOC FM.